Hi, this is Ronald Johnson, your life coach, mentor coach. And what I do is I help people that are tired of who they are and where they are in life.
And this is Gloria, your life coach. I help those who are feeling stuck, struggling with difficulties such as self-doubt, inner judgment, lack of confidence, life transitions, and take. Hi, this is Gloria, your mindfulness coach, and welcome to another episode of Life's a Shuffle.
Hi, this is Ronald Johnson, your mindfulness coach, and welcome to another episode of Life's a Shuffle. And we have a special guest. Her and I have met in person. She's a great healer, as I would say. And I'm looking forward to hearing her story and where she's come from. Before we met in the gym, we used to be hitting hard and competing and training, all that great stuff. But life does change, and we find our purpose in doing something completely different. So let me introduce herself, Natasha Sealy. Welcome to Life's a Shuffle podcast. And thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing your story, which you're going to share right now.
Thank you for having me. It's my honor to be here.
It really is. And thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with us and share with us what you do and obviously connect on a deeper level, especially during these times with COVID and shelter in place. It's really powerful for me to connect with people because I'm at home, but I get tired looking at these four walls. I need to connect with people on a deeper level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us about yourself, like where you come from. How did you get where you are today? Tell our audiences who you are.
Well, I'm Natasha. I am in California, in San Jose, California. I'm a life coach and an energy medicine woman. More focused around fulfillment and purpose. And I've been going down this path for a few years now, and I'm really finding a lot of love and passion in being in this service.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go first.
No, I was just going to ask her how she got started.
Wow.
How did you get here and how did you find this?
Okay. So how I found this was going through my own journey, basically. And what I'm helping people with right now is something that I've been through myself. I spent a long time trying to find fulfillment in what I was doing, and I was really unsuccessful. I had all of these different jobs, and I had these promotions that I went for, which was great, and they'd satisfy me for a certain period of time. But then I'd become unhappy, and then I'd find other things to make me happy, but it was temporary. So, I'd acquire assets, and the assets would make me, happy in the moment, but then it would fade away after a while. I even started to do fitness competitions in trying to find self-love and, validation and fulfillment there. And, it kind of worked for a little while, but then it still left me empty and not really fulfilled. And so I had gone down this path for a really, really long time. I even tried to find fulfillment through my family, dedicating myself to my partner and to my kids and just really filling up my time and trying to find fulfillment within them and having them be my purpose. And that wasn't working either. I mean, all of it worked temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
And what I figured out was that this all had to come from within. And so I've now found that being of service, helping others to feel fulfilled in the various aspects of their lives, and them feeling whole is my service, and that's my passion, and that's my fulfillment. And my goal is to help other people find fulfillment in what they do and not find it from the external sources. So in my coaching with fulfillment, I've figured there's three main components of it. There's love, finding self-love. There's purpose, finding what you're passionate about and where your purpose is and what you feel really fulfilled doing in life. And then also achieving success in your endeavors. And so, going down that path as you see these things that you want to accomplish in life, and you feel like really passionate about it, having success in doing those things. And so really, really focusing and honing in around those three areas, which is a lot of inner work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was going through my path, and finding fulfillment for myself, it would have been much faster to have a coach.
Yeah.
I was revisiting my story, and I was, jotting down all like my path and all of these things that I did that only left me fulfilled for a temporary time frame. And I realized that in some areas I kind of went full circle. And then in other areas, like I just felt like I spent so much time like digging and figuring it out, that if I would have just had someone there to ask me like the right questions,
Yeah.
I would have been there faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is so true. I was just thinking about what you were saying earlier is, trying to find fulfillment externally.
Yeah.
It's always when you kind of sometimes question yourself, like, okay, you want to get somewhere. So when you get there, then what? Or now what? Right? You
Mm-hmm.
fulfill something that you wanted, you get there, then what?
There's always something else.
Right.
Yeah. And so you find your fulfillment, and you're down this path. But the thing is like being in alignment with who you are and your purpose. So you achieve this one goal and you're feeling like total fulfillment. And that might be something that if it's true fulfillment, that might be something that's a part of your life for a really long time. But we as humans are always looking for something more. We're looking to learn, we're looking to experience or explore. And we have this inner desire to continue to achieve and try different things. And so I feel blessed to be able to support people in that way.
When I think about this, hearing your story, just I have to close my eyes because it sounds like my story, just in a different time, different
Mm-hmm.
space. When I think about competing, I remember growing up as a kid, getting the muscle magazine. You look at the guy with the ripped six pack and big chest, big muscles, big legs. I was 25 and I finally got a trainer and started saying, okay, well, if I compete, I finally get the body I always dreamed about, and they'll give me what I always wanted. Like I always wanted to have the beautiful woman. I always want to have a lot of money. I always want to have I want all these great things outside of me. And
Yeah.
I did all that and I still wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And looking back, it's like, dang, if I knew what I knew now, instead of wasting money on competing, I'd have wasted all that money on a coach. I'd have been a lot further ahead than I am now. But it was great because I need those experiences in life to make me who I am today and help people out. So I'm grateful for those experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Likewise, it took all of those things. It takes, and it, for everyone, it takes those things, right? It takes learning your lessons and going through the motions to have those experiences that teach you that that's not where it's at. Or maybe it is. When I think back to when I was doing the competitions, I was really, honestly, I started to do the competitions in the first place because I wanted to lose that last 5 pounds, and then to finally like love my body, like really love my body. And so I lost that 5 pounds, and then I lost more, and then I got to this, um, figure competition status, I guess. And I looked the part, and in other people's eyes, I had the perfect body, but to me, there was always something wrong. And, and I realized later that The real key, the real thing that I need to learn here is self acceptance, self love, how to properly care for myself, how to have gratitude for the body and everything that I am, and to walk my path knowing that it's not going to be perfect and it's okay. I am perfect being imperfect.
I love that.
I like that one. I like that. I think I think Ron, we always kind of go back to what we say, and I just used this term recently to somebody, perfectly imperfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is that. And sometimes it takes some time to like really let that sink in, and to accept that.
Yeah.
It really does. So how long did it take you to, let's say, find out, okay, competing isn't happening. Let me try something else. Was it like trial and error? Like, I'm gonna try this, didn't work out, I'm gonna try that, didn't work out. What happened along the way? What didn't you finally say, doggone it, I gotta do something different?
Yeah. So after competing, to be honest with you, I had like neglected my family because competing became my like, priority. I tried to be the best mom and wife as I could during that time. But honestly, if you want to be at the top of competing, you have to prioritize that. And that's what I was doing. And so once I realized that I wasn't really finding the fulfillment in competing, I I just stopped that cold turkey and then started turning to my health and my nutrition and looking at that a little bit more holistically. And then looking at my family. And that's when I went down the path of like, I'm going to find my fulfillment in my family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Love
doing
it.
everything and anything for my kids and my husband, which is good. I'm proud of myself for going down that path and being like the amazing person that I was during that time. But I really still needed to hone in on accepting myself and taking really good, proper self care, and taking time to myself, taking time to meditate, taking time to take a bath and do things, the little things that make me happy. So then the self-love fulfillment started to roll in through that piece. And then I found faith. And then that was a whole nother area that helped me to create my fulfillment as well. Knowing that, there is like the universe and source, and being able to call on that and have that be a big piece of me has been a really big impact in my finding fulfillment as well.
Wow.
Just give me chills. I hear that word
Yeah, that
universe,
sounds really good.
and when I hear the passion, the purpose, and perfectly imperfect, I just get the chills because, man, I can't say it enough. I spent so much money. I mean, I don't know if you ever heard my story, but when I got into competing,
Mhm.
I want to be the biggest and the baddest. Okay, I want to be the next Ronnie Coleman, right? That, and I really sit there and realize how much I had to really do. So I got involved in steroids. I got involved in growth hormone. I got involved in T3, which is basically a hormone to regulate your thyroid so that we lose weight faster. T3, T4 for years.
I was 3 also at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, Clan, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And just to, I just want to hit top five. I just want to win a trophy and never won a trophy. It wasn't until almost 2 years ago when my first client competed in his first show, he did two classes. He did novice and open, and one of them I think got third. Can't remember which one. And one he got second. He took me out to Screen Restaurant. Buys me a Burberry shirt. I mean, I'm like, oh my god, all right. So I'm listening to him, and he starts crying because he's not from America, so he couldn't speak good English. He's from China, and the fact that someone cared enough to trust him, and we did it as a team. When he sat across from me and started crying, it's like the universe told me, Ron, the reason why you never won the show, no matter how much drugs you took, is because that was not your purpose.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I realized right then and there, just before a month before I joined IPEC for coaching,
Mhm.
that this was not my journey. To become a personal trainer and to compete and all that, that was not my journey.
Yeah.
And it was like the higher self or the higher coach they call it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, this is where I need to be at. And when I joined IPEC, after that, I will never forget they changed my life forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Is that how you feel, Natasha? You feel like your life had been changed?
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
And how did you find, I see that you do shamanism here too. How did you find that? And how did you find life coaching?
Um, you know, shamanism was just calling me. Um, I think it's always been a part of me. Shamanism is part of every culture. And I have deep roots in the islands of Seychelles, off of the east coast of Africa. My mom is from there, and I grew up there in my early years. And I've always resonated with, the ocean and the land and being connected to. Um, I didn't know it at that time, but I had a spiritual aspect of me back then, and it's always kind of been like, I think, deep inside of me, but hadn't really resurfaced for a long time until I was looking for fulfillment, because I think I was just pushing it down all of that time, just trying to be what society expected to be all of this time, getting the
Hmm.
college degree, raising the 2.5 kids and having a husband, and having this certain kind of a job, and then climbing the ladder, and that kind of, just so busy just doing all of the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. And I think I just really disconnected. And it took me like really doing that soul searching to figure out that that was a part of me. And I just ended up, doing just random research. It kept popping up here and there. And finally, I just connected with a teacher that really sat well with me. And I've been working with her for a while now. So, yeah. Did
Isn't that
I
crazy?
answer?
I mean, crazy in a good way, because we do have sometimes there's this view, or I guess we go by society to, you go to college, and then you get a job, you have this life, and then you get married, you have kids, and then you work, and then you're a working mom, and then and how do we really do life? What is life like supposed to be like, right? And I think like what I've learned in this past couple of years is going through the changes too, is that the most important thing, and it's exactly how you found it, is that who you are, or how you are within yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was always a part of me from the beginning, even though it was, pushed down or suppressed for a long time. And, I was reflecting back on who or what I wanted to be, like growing up when I was a kid,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like all of my friends were like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And I had no, like, what I said I wanted to be?
Hmm.
An executive assistant. So but the funny thing is that's what I am now. I am an assistant. I help people.
Yeah.
And
Good
it's
one.
funny to see like the dots connect in that way. Like, the title is different, and I did hold that title for a while, actually, back for a while. But it's funny to see that I'm still working in as assistant, but in a different way, and I am finding so much joy and fulfillment and passion in doing this. So I knew what I wanted to be. I knew what I wanted to be back then, but like I said earlier, if I would have had a coach, maybe I would have gotten here faster.
Don't we
And
all
you
wish
really
that,
would have
right?
know what it's called. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I would
That's
have been
funny.
find that a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I never I did what you did is I think this was, but I only went as far back as high school for me is when everyone's talking about what they want to be, where they're going for college and what are they going to study, all that. I didn't have anything. And I think I was one of those kids, or at least within my friends circle, that I was one who just didn't have anything to say. But what stuck out was, yeah, I'm going to be a nurse, or I want to be a nurse. But the reason why I was saying that is because that's what my mom kept pushing me to be. And that's what she wanted me to be, even though it's not what I wanted. But because I didn't have anything to say and to kind of just try to fit in when everyone else already knew what they wanted, I didn't know what I wanted to be or what to do. But I was just saying nurse. And I ended up not going to school or nursing school anyways. But it was just, like what you said, just you didn't know. But, years later and later in life, like now, you're finding that now. And I think that, that's the one of the most beautiful thing about life, and it
Mhm.
is that when you're creating something that you really care for,
Yeah.
and you find, you find great joy in doing this, or within the process of doing this, you're enjoying it.
And one of the things that I've learned also is when you're in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing and you're feeling completely fulfilled with your life, you're attracting the people, the right people
Mm-hmm.
into your life as well. So it's really hard to go wrong in what you decide to pursue as a job or a career if you're really passionate about it.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, just again, within this past few years now, just connecting with just like a lot of like-minded people, and a lot of the great connections that we've had recently. I get overwhelmed with gratitude and with joy, because I can't believe it. It's very, very, very fulfilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you become more in line with what you want and your passion, purpose, it really is the universe giving everything you need. Like it could be the book you're reading, it could be the coaches you find, it can be the husband or wife that becomes in your life, or the kids coming in your life. Everything seems to flow, and there's no resistance.
Yeah.
There's this
It just
book,
all falls into your life
all
like
falls in your lap,
magic.
Mm-hmm.
right?
It
Yeah.
does, yeah.
I mean, it's
And I'm
it's, it's similar
so
to this
in awe of
podcast.
the process.
Mm. I wish I knew this. So my dad. So how you guys? Gloria's talking about being a nurse, and my dad's thought process about growing up, a son, get yourself a government job. Because his idea was get a government job, let's say the post office or UPS or whatever, because you worked there for 30 years, your retirement, and you just die. That's it. Like
You get
there's
the
Yeah.
nothing past
benefits.
there's nothing
Yeah.
past the government job. That's it. And
Wow.
when I hear my dad talk about that, I mean, he passed away almost 6 years ago. It's like when I saw him in the hospital, Pat dying, I was like, man, I gotta live my life. I gotta do something different in my life. I have to get together. And the minute I said it to myself, within 90 days after his passing, I passed my NASM test. 2 months later, I launched my website, RJ Health and Fitness for Personal Training. A little over 18 months later, I quit my full time job. And it's like every 3 to 5 years, I'm changing, doing something different. And it's not having a government job. And I don't think I would ever want to have a government job, because life is not meant to be in a box. See, when you get a government job, they tell you what time you come to work, they tell you your vacations, they tell you your holiday, they tell you how much you get paid, they tell you what your benefits are, they tell you what your medical is. That's it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's all about having a title. So if you're all about seniority. So if you haven't been there long, you're on the bottom of the totem pole. When you own your own business and become a coach and helping people, your creation is infinite. It doesn't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. You can create your life. You can create your story. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's all in your hands. And then it's about still, I mean, there's still challenges, some challenges there. Everything's aligned, but then there's fears that come up, or there's blocks that come up, that, one needs to get through to get to the other side of those things, to achieve the goals. But it's such a beautiful process.
Well, we have this walls of resistance in our mind that we just have to, I think it's just the way we respond to it, right? And how, and how we respond to that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the universe, like, putting like a little something in the way, in the path, right? That says, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
I
You
think
got
for a lot of us, he does
really
the
have to
universe
get
does
through
all the
this.
time.
If you want to get there, are you gonna get through this?
Can you really make it? Can you really climb that wall up
Show
there?
me how bad you want it. It's right here
Mhm.
on the other side. Yep.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
part of the work, and it's a beautiful process. I love it.
Yeah.
That's one of my affirmations every day is trust the process, and things will happen perfectly the way they should be happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my affirmations every day. Because I guess for me, it's the only thing that keeps me sane from like your mind going out of control. Like I should be doing this, I should be doing this, I should be doing this. Like I should and what if. Those two things can drive you nuts. But I take about 4 to 5 deep breaths, trust the process, things that happen perfectly where they are, and everything goes away.
Yeah. I am. In my meditation today, I came up with a new mantra for myself, um, with something, because I'm constantly evolving, and growing my practice. And so my new mantra, starting today, is "I am worthy."
Oh,
And
I like
that was I noticed that I had some stuff coming up, like who am I to be doing this? I'm doing these women's circles, and I have these like fabulous clients, and who am I? But
Mhm.
I'm totally worthy of this, and I am passionate about this, and so I can do this because it's who I am. Yeah.
Gosh, you just mentioned "Who am I?" and it's funny, I just heard that from have you seen or watched OWN, Iyanla Vanzant?
Oh, I haven't seen her in a while, but I have seen her talk before.
Yeah, so her series had ended, and I think, she's starting a new one, but she said that, "Who am I?" And I remember, and I wrote this down one time, and what it is who am I now? Because now you're looking at you're focusing on now, right? So who am I now? What is my inner authority? Do I own my inner authority? And she mentioned that if you once you find that, you own it and you own it in a loving way and own it with kindness.
Oh, that's
Mm,
beautiful. I love
it's
that.
gorgeous.
Isn't it? So that one really stuck with me when just kind of reminded me that when you said, "Who am I?" And I really like that because that's I think one of the questions that, sometimes we have to really sit back and take that time for ourselves when you find that when you eventually find self-love like you did, it's just, yeah, who am I? But I really like the part that who am I now? Because like you said, you're evolving and I think all of us we continue to evolve, right?
Yeah.
And grow. So the way I see it is I think with all of us in this, in our practice and in the changes that we're going through in our lives, it's a continual growth process.
Yes. Yes. That never ends.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
yeah,
we continue to develop always.
yes.
Always.
And I will never forget. And so it's another thing is, when we open that, for me, it's opening my third eye. And that's how I've
Mhm.
always think of it. And
Yes, I saw that.
yeah, once I've opened my third eye, we had our guest before, Ray, and I will never forget what she said is once it's opened, you can't it could be dangerous in a good way, but you're unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can see.
Right.
Your third eye opens up the seeing and the ability to do it. The visualization aspect. That's beautiful. Love it.
It is. And I do have a question for you. So once you found self-love and you know were working within yourself and found the energy healing and life coaching, what was all this like for you once you've discovered all this?
Feeling a sense of completion, like wholeness,
Mm-hmm.
is what I felt. Um, yeah, I can't describe it. Just really feeling whole and a sense of just owning who I am and knowing. I think that's the thing, knowing who I am once I had all of those things together and being able to walk and um, present myself in my true nature always.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful right there.
It is. I'm kind of speechless. Yeah, it is.
I see how you talk to Gloria and I, we understand it.
Mhm.
I want to know, going through this journey, did you face any resistance at all? I mean, outside the own thoughts you have in your own head, I mean, we all have those, right?
Mhm.
Did you it face any outside resistance?
Um, hmm, external resistance. I had a lot of support around me. Um, I think the biggest resistance that I was faced with, which was still, which is still like an inner thing, is how people would perceive me as I start to walk a different path. The judgment behind it,
Mhm.
which was all still in my own head. But so it's like a faux external resistance that was there. What are they gonna think? What are they gonna say when I start to do this stuff? But yeah, but not outside of that. Um, no, I had to be strong in just making the changes and doing it, just executing the way that I see it happening.
Was there any fear at all?
Yeah, there's been fear the whole way. I've been like, even, I can be in complete alignment and know exactly what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it and, get all the inner guidance and um, be confident, but still have some fear there, I think whenever we're doing something new, there's always going to be a little bit of fear of the unknown, at least for a lot of us. I face that.
Yeah. Yeah. And did that fear stop you from any of those at all?
Yeah, I would say that there were a couple of times where fear had stopped me. I would say not stopped me, delayed me. But if
Okay.
I would have had a coach,
You wouldn't
I would
have
have
had the delay. Yeah.
gotten faster. Yeah, I mean, fear can be paralyzing, you know?
Mhm.
And then you could sit there in limbo for a really long time in fear of what's on the other side. And sometimes the fear is like, oh, um, something is going to go bad, and sometimes the fear is something is going to go really good, and then what? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so there's fear can be out of anything. Yeah.
It
So
can be.
it has paralyzed me in moments, but I've been really mindful. I've been really conscious of what's showing up for me, and then I've been working through it, and I've gotten to the other side each and every time. Yeah.
So you finally give yourself permission to be you.
I did.
How does that feel?
It was a long time coming, and it felt amazing when I finally arrived. Yeah.
I love it. Yes, yes.
When I was okay to be my authentic self. It was
Hmm.
really beautiful and, freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very freeing.
It
Such a good
does.
feeling when it feels like, you're free.
Yeah, and not having to I remember just, pretending a lot of the times in the past, like, pretending to be a certain way or to I don't know, like, just in corporate or in the competitions and just like, yeah, just feeling like I needed to look a certain way and be and act a certain way when that I did it, but it didn't really feel authentic. And so it was a little bit of a journey to like really discover who I am and all of the things that fulfill me. Yeah.
Wow. Sounds so amazing. So I hired my coach recently, a new person,
Hmm.
and we were going over my human design last week, and
Ooh.
it was amazing that when she was telling my human design, I'm a generator, and we're going over everything, and I felt this chill come over my body, and I said, "Look, when you're talking about human design, everything's saying all makes sense now." She's like, "You know what, dude? You finally got permission to be you." I was like, "Thank God. I finally got permission to be myself. This is who I am. And let me enjoy every aspect of me." And that's when last week I got the permission to be me. Because in society, we always are taught, well, you got to do this. You got to, go to high school. Go to high school, go to college. You got to get a career. You got to make a lot of money. You got to pay your bills. You got to get a family. You got to get married. You got to. But
Yeah.
no one ever asks us a question: do we have permission to be ourselves? Are we being ourselves? Are we just doing because my parents said it, my professor said it, or the society says I got to be this, I got to be that? I mean, the biggest question in life is who I am and where do I belong?
Yeah. Mm.
And the biggest question, the answer to that is be who yourself is. Stop
Hmm.
comparing yourself to other people. Stop comparing yourself to society. Be you. If
Yeah.
this makes you happy and it's not hurting anybody else, it gives you plenty of joy, have at it. Go for it. One question I'm really curious about. I didn't do a lot of research. I did not do a lot of research on it. You said shamanism, and that did I pronounce it correctly or no?
Yes, you
Okay.
probably.
Can you explain to me at least and to our audience what is that? What is that? What is that? And how do you do it? And what does it mean?
Well, briefly, shamanism is, when you think of like in Africa, when people are in like their tribal, like in their tribes, and they're doing the dancing and they're doing the healings and they're connecting with the gods. So there's that aspect in Africa, one example. And then you have your natives here in the U.S. who, they have their land. They gather around the fire. They connect with the gods and they do healing. So it's like it's almost this. There's different aspects to it for each culture, but that's the grassroots of it is really connecting with nature and going back to like the simple ways, learning to be as one in the community, learning to connect with energy for healing and guidance, um, learning to walk in beauty and in grace with grace. Yeah, so it's all of that.
Oh my God, it sounds so amazing.
It's been really, really nice to learn this path, and I've been learning some of the native culture, but I'm digging into the African cultures now, and I'm learning some of their ways, and it's just it's a really simple way of being and feeling like having gratitude for all that we're connected with and how we are here, living on earth. What always dumbfounds me is if there's, this is like going back to like my faith in all of this, is like we are literally like on a piece of dirt floating in the middle of space that has no ending. How can you not have faith in like in a higher being or universal magic? We're literally floating in space. And so, I mean, that always like, whenever I have my moments, I'm like, okay, wait a second. Let's remember, like, we're just like these little tiny ants on a big piece of dirt here. And we have a sun, we have a moon, we have all of these like trees and plants around us that give us air, and these birds and these animals that give us like these different kinds of medicines and nourishment for our body. It's just such a amazing, simplistic way of looking at life.
You know what? I'm gonna have to use that. I never thought about that. We are on a piece of dirt, and we're not the biggest planet either.
No.
No, we're not.
We're not. We're floating in space on a piece of dirt, not tied by anything.
Not tied by anything.
Right.
And we think we're the only ones out there, but we truly don't know.
Yeah, we're not.
So you have to believe in something higher than you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have faith in something higher than you.
Yeah. Or else how is this even possible?
Yeah. It has to be something much bigger than us. We're just, like you said, we're just like an ant on a piece of dirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we're that piece of dirt.
To somebody else.
Yeah.
There could be someone in another galaxy looking at us, but man, those people out there, they're sure are small. What are they doing?
Yeah.
It could be someone, as a kid, you have a magnifying glass, right? So you can see, ants or see, different things up close. What if someone's looking at us with a magnifying glass, like, man, those people sure are crazy on Earth. We get it all figured out. They haven't figured it out already? Should someone help them? No. Leave it up to them. They'll figure it out.
Hey, you'll never know. There could be somebody looking at us like that.
Yeah. And what are they doing to their planet?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So to them, we're just like a piece of dirt to them. Like, look at all those dirts.
Yeah. Just these little things try to find our way.
Yeah, exactly. Still trying to find our way. And, I think it's sometimes too, like, we go back to, with society again, into how society views us, or we kind of try to fit in. Then we end up putting boundaries, right? I think as humans, we're so used to having that boundaries, and we limit ourselves, but we don't realize that once, if you just don't limit yourself, or just don't have any boundaries at all.
Yeah.
Anything's
like our belief work, the things that has to do a lot with what we were brought up and what we were taught and witnessed as we were growing up, our beliefs and the ability to recognize and be conscious of the things that are holding us back, or putting those walls up for us, and being able to see through it and work towards getting on the other side.
Yeah.
That's the huge thing that, up until you either go to coaching school or hire a coach or really do some conscious work or metaphysics work or something, people don't know what belief systems really are and where they come from. They just think, well, I'm this way because my dad was like that, or my mom was like this, or this is who I am.
Yeah.
Then up until you have a shattering event, be you lose a loved one, you get cancer, something that just wakes you up and shatters you to the core. You're like, wait a minute here.
Yeah.
What the hell was I doing my whole life? I don't want that anymore. Or I want this.
Yeah.
do I really have to do that? What's really going on? We start digging in deep. And why does it take for that to happen? Why are we not knowing this as a kid, you know?
I
Mm-hmm.
know. I hear you. Why does it take something so bad and so traumatic for us to wake up?
Yeah.
And I I think I mean I believe that a lot of people are waking up now because of everything that we're going through in the past year
Mm-hmm.
with COVID. I mean, it has impacted a lot of people in many different ways. And I think a lot of people are waking up now and seeing like, taking time to like see how they've been living and analyzing and figuring out if that's the way that they want to continue to live their lives or if they want something different for themselves. But yeah, it's a shame that it takes something so drastic to see.
Yeah, or just trying to find themselves, right? Find ourselves, figure ourselves out. I mean,
Yeah.
why does it take something like that to really find who we are? Or why does it take this long, or to even have a coach to find to find ourselves? But really, I mean, this is hard, and I know it's hard to believe. And you know, I think it's you are who you've been looking for,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
it's it's like I think you mentioned it earlier. It's always been there within you. Even, who you are now, it's always been there
Yeah.
within you.
Yeah.
You just didn't really, I think it just didn't really open up for you until, this last few years when you were trying to fulfill yourself, and you weren't, you thought you were getting fulfilled with what you're looking for, but you were not. And I think that's with all of us. We are who we've always been looking for. It's there. It's hard to believe. And I would say, like, maybe just the person that you've been looking for, just look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe you'll see it clearly that you are who you've been looking for.
Yeah. We are who we are looking for. Yeah.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So we all got to give ourselves permission to be who we are.
There it is. Yeah.
Yes. Authentically. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
I had
remember,
my,
that's a big part of remembering who we are.
yes.
And that could be as simple as just like thinking back into, childhood days for some of us,
Yeah.
who were we then? How is that still a part of you now?
Hmm. When I did a breakthrough session with my coach recently, and I had a lot of trauma and pain I was holding on to as a child. And once we did our breakthrough session, all that pain and energy that was trapped, it's like gone.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's
Wow.
like it doesn't exist. It's completely gone. Like the anger, our ego wants to kind of remind us of the pain, but it comes up and it's like, why are you thinking about that? Why are you thinking about this? Like,
Yeah.
I used to, all my years of my life, excuse me, we always used to think about, um, you know, before coaching all this stuff, if we had a lot of money, like I would think about, oh my God, if I won $90 million and laid in the lotto, what would I do? And over the years, that the idea of winning that much money has diminished a great deal to it's almost, it comes up. It's like, why are you thinking about that? Look how much gratitude you have around you right now. Because what happens, we're attracted to the wrong kind of abundance and we have a scarcity mentality by thinking about that. And it proved to be over the years unfulfilling.
Yeah.
It's just an empty canister, unfulfilling. So I just stopped doing it, and it gave up a lot of attachments to clothes, to cars, to things, to people, to relationships, and just trying to be steadfast and still where I'm at, and everything will come in alignment with me because I'm being who I am. It's like a energy rod attracting different things towards me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you can't find the happiness and fulfillment within yourself alone, then you're not going to find it externally.
No, because you're
Not at
you're
all.
going to constantly look for it if you
Yeah,
keep looking for it.
yeah.
just going to keep finding like the next high, the next temporary good, feel good thing. And
Right.
that just becomes like a pattern. Yeah,
Mhm.
you really do have to search within.
I call that the defective steering wheel syndrome. And if you drive your car down the street and so all of a sudden the steering wheel goes out, you can't steer anymore. You go every which way direction, right? But loose. And that's that natural high. We're always trying to look for, competing relationships, money, car, career, all these things we cannot control. And it's clearly a defective steering wheel. If one goes awry, we feel like we're unfulfilled and we look for the next one. We look for the next big job, the next better car, and then the next better purse or next better clothes or all this crap that we do not control instead of just building that inner happiness and inner joy for ourselves that would give us infinite joy,
Yeah.
infinite energy, and infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
It's all within.
Yeah. If it can be taken away from you, then it's not really true fulfillment.
Ooh, I love that. If it can be taken away, it's not true fulfillment. Because it's like Nelson Mandela or anybody out there that's been dealt with hardships.
Yeah.
They can treat them like crap, but they can't take the way they feel about themselves and what they're fighting for. Can't take that away.
Yeah.
You know what, Natasha? I want to have this as we get towards the end of our podcast. It's been amazing, and I always like for our guests to share one thing as a takeaway. So, for our audience members around the world, what would you say to people out right now that may be going through struggles or trying to find themselves? What would you tell those people out there in the world right now?
Oh, let me think. I'd say all the answers are there for you. You are totally capable of coming out on top. You are loved and supported. Sit with yourself and search within.
I love it. Sit with yourself and search within because the answers are always within you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add it to my affirmation list. Answers always within me.
Yeah.
It really is. That's always something that we have to keep reminding ourselves, like constantly. And, it's hard because sometimes you get caught up with the outside world or the external. You just don't, we don't realize the answers right there. And like I said, the person that you've always been looking for has always been there.
Yeah. Discover that person that's in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yes.
And also, we want to say this, Natasha. How can people find you? What they want to hear about your coaching practice, and tell our audience how they find you, and keeping in contact with you.
Yeah, I do have a website at natashasealy.com. And I am on Instagram. Natasha Sealy Coaching, I think, is my name on Instagram. But yeah, I'm easily found on the website. And you can just contact me through there. There's a contact button in there. I'm currently offering one-on-one support, and also I have a couple women's circles that are happening right now, and I'm also looking forward to embarking on some other group coaching activities later this year. So I'd love to have you get in contact with me.
Awesome. You hear that, guys? Contact her. She's there for one-on-one support and women's only group. Look at that. Because we
Nice.
need it right now. And you
Yeah.
have a right to get the help you deserve. Do not wait until things go upside down to actually get the help you deserve. Because you have all the power inside you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say thank you for everybody, and thank you, Natasha, for listening to another episode of Life's a Shuffle podcast. It's been amazing, Natasha, in your journey. I know we met before years ago at Twin Frog Fitness, and we saw each other last time at the competition. And hearing your
Yeah.
story, just man, we have so much in common. and we're on the right path. We should be on our own personal journey.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we were able to connect and with Gloria as well on this podcast, Life's a Shuffle, because hearing your journey is why really reason why Gloria and I got started is that we were going to do a script and make it about X, but then after a while I said, wait a minute, why don't we create these Y stories? Because the truth is someone out there is sharing your story, your journey, and by sharing your story on our podcast gives them hope they will make it. It gives them hope they can get through it because those naysayers in our brain and those fears will come up and will challenge us to the point that beat us down. We just don't do anything with our life. So thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks again, Natasha, for sharing your story. And again, don't forget to check us out. You have our website at www.lifesashuffle.com, and we also have our Facebook page as well. If you'd like to connect with our guest and also have any questions for Ron and myself, you can email us at lifesashuffle@gmail.com. And
And
this is
join,
Gloria. Go ahead.
I was going to say one thing, and join our Facebook group, Life's a Shuffle on Facebook, and you can be a special guest and leave a comment, and we'll talk about it on the podcast on air.
Yes. And yeah, there you go. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Lisa's Shuffle.